Sydney's trucking protests. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we're going to talk about the protests which have occurred today in Sydney, with a bunch of truckies going from one side of the city to the other, blaring their horns in protest at these snap lockdowns. And this is from the TWU and RTO. New South Wales are demanding automatic exemption of transport workers from snap rule changes. Now, on the face of it, that seems to make a lot of sense. You'd think, well, the truckies would be essential workers because they deliver the food and the toilet paper for which we're all so dependent upon. Let's start by having a look at just some footage from these protests here that I found on Twitter. It's always a spectacle when you hear them playing beeping the horns all across the city in unison. Perhaps this is also a sign that more and more people are getting frustrated with all of these lockdowns and these interventions. Hopefully it'll manifest in a political shift. Well, I suspect, and we've seen it in poll results and election outcomes, that there are some people that love being protected and taken care of. It's encouraging to see some people are getting frustrated. And let's look at another clip as well. Here. Going over a somewhat famous bridge there. Looks very familiar to our one that we have here, the Story Bridge in Brisbane. Because, of course, the Sydney Harbour Bridge was copied from that. So let's have a look at the media statement from the Transport Workers Union and have a look at what they're asking for. So, the TWU, NSW, and RTO, NSW have jointly written to the New South Wales government calling for clarification that all transport workers are exempt now and in the future from restrictions which would prevent them from carrying out essential work that New South Wales citizens rely on. Following pressure from the transport and retail industries, the New South Wales Premier has provided an exemption to its earlier announced restrictions in hotspot LGAs for any person who performs work that is essential for the continued operation of food retailing, warehousing and distribution transportation. The clarification sought from the New South Wales Government is to confirm that the exemption covers all essential transport workers, including aviation workers, bus drivers, waste workers, taxi and rideshare drivers. Major bus depots, which service the inner west and regional bus routes, are inside and just outside of the Fairfield LGA, according to the 2016 census. More than 20,000 transport workers live in the Fairfield, Liverpool and Canterbury Blacktown LGAs. Confusion from the snap rule change today sparked anger, with truck drivers holding a protest convoy across the Harbour and Anzac bridges in Sydney. TWU New South Wales Branch Secretary Richard Olsen said the New South Wales Government should follow Victoria's lead in deeming transport worker groups as essential. We welcome the exemption, which reflects the essential work done by transport workers, but we require urgent clarification that all transport workers, including those providing critical passenger transport, air freight, and waste removal services, will not face penalties for going to work. Well, how are the passenger people going to be moving people around if everyone is locked up in these areas? I guess not. Without this clarification, we will see waste piling up on our streets, passengers stranded at bus stops, and freight left unattended at airports. Well, you'd think it'd be pretty self-explanatory if you'd realize you're an essential worker. The snap announcement today is further evidence of rushed policy change, which severely overtook the essential overlooked the essential nature of transport. This oversight must be rectified by the implementation of a standing exemption to ensure transport workers are automatically protected against future SNAP rule changes and confusing information. It all comes down to communication, doesn't it? Transport workers have been the backbone of Australia throughout this pandemic. They've kept shelves stocked with essential supplies and got people safely to testing and vaccination centres. They've been operating at extreme demand for the last 18 months and they are stressed. We're calling on the New South Wales government to stop blaming and penalising workers for holes in biosecurity and instead allow them to just do their jobs in peace. I think everyone wants to just do their jobs in peace. But everyone has been, sadly, we've all been doing our jobs in peace and not really been taking an interest in the political machinations and power that has been handed over to others. RTO, New South Wales Secretary Laurie Dapas, said transport operators were not consulted or forewarned of tighter restrictions announced today. I'm sure a lot of people weren't. Transport operators within and outside Fairfield, Liverpool, Canterbury, Blacktown LGAs were thrown into chaos during the New South Wales Premier's press conference today. We're pleased to see that the New South Wales government acted quickly to provide an exemption for transport. However, the confusing information will still have an impact on transport operations as employers and workers scramble to understand which rules now apply. It's important that this situation be avoided in the future, and the way to do that is to categorise transport workers as essential and exempt from SNAP policy decisions. I'm honestly surprised that just isn't default, everyone. You know, I'm agreeing with the union here. I'm shocked that they're not deemed essential. You'd think they would be. I mean, how are people going to get their toilet paper? The Victorian state government has deemed the following groups as essential workers: public transport, including taxi, rideshare service, and other public passenger services; air transport, including the operation of airports; port operations; freight services, including postal and courier; a transport, freight, or logistics driver; domestic and commercial waste and resource recovery services, including collection, treatment, and disposal services and transfer stations. I mean, surely all of those people would realise they're essential. Maybe not the ride shares, maybe. So, what do you think, everyone? What is the solution to this? You know, the unions are calling for, codified exemption from these requirements. There's never any discussion about not having these lockdowns. It's just accepted now, isn't it? Wait till we see them more and more in the future. Well, makes a lot of sense what they're putting forward. Nothing surprising here. What is your take or your opinion on this, guys? Let us know in the comments down below. Were you there? Did you hear the horns blaring? Are you surprised that they're not deemed essential? It just seems as short-sighted and rushed as everything else we've had with this entire last year and a half now. As always, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.